took her up there, and I thought that everything was okay, and then I talked to him. I mean, everything was okay up until I said, I'm ready to have her come home.
Uh-huh.
And then he actually asked me, he wanted to come with her.
Uh-huh.
And I said no. I said no.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight's 2020, I should have said.
So you drove from Tennessee to Canada.
Yes.
To see your daughter, right?
Yes, after I realized what he was doing, and that I had received documents saying that he was going to keep her there. I mean, I was served.
You were served with papers.
I was served papers.
And those papers said?
And those papers said that he was going to keep her in Canada. I was devastated.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's nothing, you can't describe the feeling. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
None. It's like getting hit in the face with a 2x4.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. I panicked, and I started calling. I called the police. I called the FBI. I called I've got boxes of.
Name the people that you called. Name them.
I called Greta Mossad of the Ministry of Attorney General's office up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, BC in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I called the U.S. Embassy. I called the original person in the Child Issues Department was Barbara Gregg,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went to Barbara Roscoe, and then it went to Michael Goldberg, and I've got a letter from him.
Mm-hmm.
I have talked to more people than I can possibly.
You called the police, right? The FBI.
I called the Mounties in Canada. I said, listen, I'm coming for my daughter. My ex-husband has...
And what did they say to you, though?
Well, he said, come on up,
Now, what did the people that you contacted say to you? How could they help you?
Showed documents, they did nothing. They said, these are U.S. documents, and they don't mean anything to us in Canada. So once you are over the border of the U.S., you are not supported whatsoever. We live in this amazing bubble in the United States. We think that we are protected by our government here, and that they're going to come to our rescue and to our aid. But that is not true, and that is not going to happen.
Okay.
They did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me.
So now what you're paying is child support, right?
And now I'm paying on top of it.
How much child support are you paying?
I pay $425 a month, which is unbelievable on top of the travesty of having lost my child. Now I'm having to pay child support. I was furious. I said, this is so wrong on every possible level.
But you don't actually see your daughter that much, or once in a while, right?
Whenever he sees it, which is very little, he gives me just...
People do not understand, once your child is taken across the border, it is not up to you. It is not your decision making anymore. It is the abductor that might allow you to see your child. You have nothing to do with it and nothing to say about it. Is that right?
That's right. And I've got a letter here I'd like to read. This is from the Department of the Office of Children's Issues.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Michael Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
I received this just a few weeks ago, after all these years. Our office's role has always been rather limited in your case, and that is to assist you in filing a Hague return application. Now that that is over and done with, so I am afraid there is not much more that we can do. If you had zero contact with Michaela, as is the case with some of our parents who are unable to communicate at all with their children, we could ask a concierge official to visit Michaela, subject to permission by the father.
Yes, by the father. Has nothing to do with you.
No,
It is out of the U.S. hands.
Absolutely. And so what's ridiculous about the whole thing is that they're going to ask the abductor who took my child's permission for me to see her.
Okay. Now Now, you had two attorneys, right? You had a legal aid attorney, and then you had another attorney. And did any of them help you?
When it all first happened.
How much did you spend for the attorney?
A fortune.
What's a fortune?
Spent everything I've worked hard for my whole life. I mean, starting
How
at
much did it amount to about?
$32,000 right off. That's
Right off the top, right?
Right off the top.
And now on plus the $428 you're paying for child support,
Yes.
that was
Yes.
50% of your salary, but now they're taking 60% of your salary, right?
Taken 60% of my salary last year. Which was,
And you are homeless, are you not?
yes, for the past year. I hate to say that, but yes. When it all first happened, I went to Canada myself and stood before the Supreme Court by myself. I said, I had to do something. I knew I had to do something, and I said, I'm going to do it myself. I got no support from anybody. So I went and stood before this. That was the scariest moment of my entire life, Marianne. I'm telling you, it's awful to stand before that court knowing that my child's everything existed on that moment. And she told me, the judge told me that I couldn't represent myself.
That you had to get an attorney?
An attorney.
Yeah.
So I said, what do I need to do? And she said, well, you need to go upstairs and get an attorney here, a legal aid attorney, and within 2 weeks I want to hear this case. Don't, 2 weeks. So she created an urgency.
Yeah, so I want the public to know how these children survive. They survive by remembering the past. That's how they survive. Every time you talk to your daughter, she talks about the past. And I know from your case and other cases that that's how these children survive. They hang on to the past, every little thing that they can remember.
Yes.
And so that's how they keep on going.
Every Tuesday at 4:30.
You might get a phone call, or you might be able to talk to your daughter. But what do you want to say? Because it's almost the end of the show. What do you want to say? Do you want to say anything about how the system works?
I do want to say something to the parents that have questions about letting their children go over the borders, over the...
Okay, say it fast.
Don't let them leave. Don't let them leave. Your laws only protect you here in the United States, and if that, you do it yourself. As a parent, you've got to protect your children.
Yeah, so don't let them go across the border. And we'll end on that. And thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks.
Thank you.